Hi there, my name is Ginny Fairchild and I am a violinist with the Atlanta Opera. It is Friday, January 15th, and the All-State excerpts have just come out. Teaching them to my students, I realized that none of us have very long before we've got to play them again. February, I don't remember exactly when, the 13th, I believe. So it occurred to me that maybe for those of you who don't have access to your teachers, either at school or at home, it might help to have at least somebody who can give you a few tips on how to get these excerpts done. So I'm going to go through these videos, go through these excerpts, and see if it lends anybody a little extra help so they can practice. I'm going to put in the comment section links to my markings, so you can have my fingerings if you'd like. Please, if you have a private teacher, use your private teacher's fingerings, not mine. Your private teacher and your school teacher are very important to listen to. This is just as a kind of added bonus and some help, maybe something you can play along with when you're practicing. So let's start with the first excerpt for the 6, 7, 8, and that is the Beethoven. It is at 60. So the first thing I'm going to do is play along with the metronome at tempo. So the things that are important to remember, that you have to vibrate in the beginning. You vibrate before you start playing, so you have a nice, and even vibrate your fourth finger. Vibrate every note and crescendo to forte. Now here you're going to take a circle bow. You want to play this next part down at the bottom of your bow, somewhere around the bouncing point. Don't get up here because you won't get the articulation that you need. So it'll sound like this. Big bows, big bows. And make sure you diminuendo at the end, okay? Now I'm going to play it through a little bit slower, so you can work on playing the right notes and intonation, all right? You don't have to do my fingerings, but I suggest you avoid doing open strings on long notes because you really have to vibrate. A good vibrato is going to make the difference between getting in and not getting in sometimes. Okay, I'm going to take it a little slower. Okay, that's all I'm going to say about the first excerpt. Let's move on to the second one. All right, excerpt number 2 for Middle State All-State Orchestra is the Adagio and Allegro from Handel's Sonata. So this one's pretty straightforward. It's going to be about being in tune, having good clean sound and good articulation. This doesn't have to be really heavy. It's going to be handled, so it's not going to be a really heavy sound. And when you want to not play heavy, use more bow, a lighter, faster bow. So at 100, cold hands. At 100. All right. So the eighth notes, you want to be at the top of your bow. All right, and nice big bows. If you use smaller bows, it sounds really stuffy. So big bows. All right, now let's talk about the 16th notes. Every time you have a little scale, like in measure 66, and also measure 60, as well as measure 63. You always want to put a little crescendo in it. That's a good way to have nice phrasing. You've got to phrase this and give it a little bit of life. Let's see. What else can I say about it? The second to last line, where you have some slurs. Make sure you don't rush those slurs. Everybody likes to rush slurs. So I would practice this 16th note passage with the metronome quite a bit. Notice at measure 64, it's mezzo piano. Before that, you've been forte. And hopefully in measure 63, you did a nice crescendo. So at 64, you want to start soft. I suggest maybe even a little softer than mezzo piano, so you can do a nice crescendo that can be heard later on. So at 64, nice crescendo there, all right? Okay, now I'm going to go through it slowly so you can have a chance to play along and make sure that you get the right notes and good intonation. And again, I'll put in the comments links to my markings and my fingerings. You don't have to do them, but they're a good suggestion. Slow it down even more here at 64. second excerpt. All right, moving on to the third excerpt from Dvorak New World Symphony. This is such a great piece and such a great excerpt. I'm really excited. It's part of the All-State audition. Really important to know that it is double forte. The whole time it's double forte. Big bows, big vibrato. Don't be little bows. Don't press, don't crunch. Use big bows to make that sound just shoot across the room. Let's see. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Let's play it through, and then we'll talk a little bit more about it. 132. Articulation in this is really important. There's an accent in the beginning, and then really articulated quarter notes with dots, and then another accent. And you want to make sure that eighth note is really well articulated. And then legato, accent. Articulated, accent, short, 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 short. Now work your way to the upper half, because here, that's really legato, and you want to be in the upper half of your bow. Very articulated in those dotted. All right. Couple of things I suggest. One, a technical thing. In measure, gosh, it's the third line. Measure 40, 39, 38, 37. Once you put that first finger D sharp down, do not pick it back up until the end of the measure. It'll help you stay in tune. And know that your finger pattern, your half steps and whole steps, looks like this, all right? So your third and fourth fingers are a half step apart, and your first and second fingers are a half step apart. So make sure that your first and second fingers are really tight next to each other, and your third and fourth fingers are really tight next to each other. And then a musical thing, it measure 43, all right? The last two beats, do a little hairpin crescendo on that arpeggio. So it sounds, I'm going to exaggerate it. Here. All right, so that top note, da 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 dum, it gives all these running eighth notes a lot of life. All right, now I'm going to go through it slowly for notes and intonation and rhythm and stuff like that. Slow it down here. whole time. You want to make sure that your third finger is over the side of the bow, that your first finger is properly placed, and you're really getting good contact with the string. Not this, not gritty, but moving the bow. All right, really let that bow arm go. Loosen it up, let it go. You won't drop the bow, I promise. Okay, that's the third excerpt. All right, the fourth excerpt, Hofelt, She Will Hang the Night with Stars. I don't know this piece, but I absolutely love the title. The music tells us, along with the tempo, what it should sound like. This is a more lyrical one. We have mezzo forte in the beginning, and then we don't have any other dynamics except for a diminuendo in the end. So we really have to put in our own dynamics, our own kind of give and take. And if you look at my marked part, you'll see that I wrote in quite a few little hairpin crescendos. Crescendo, decrescendo, crescendo, decrescendo. All right? So first, let's play it through. Now I do a fingering that is very musical, but it's hard. I'm going to give you a couple of options for fingerings. The reason this fingering is hard is because I stay in the beginning, I stay in second position, and I reach for that D. Again. And sometimes playing this high D and that low D, they really have to match. They have to be really in tune, but it's hard to do. You may choose to do another fingering where you shift. And that's okay too. Just make sure your shifts aren't swoopy. I don't want to hear the shifts. This is not the music where you want to hear all those shifts happen. Okay, so let's play it through. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. This is really about how the music kind of moves up and down gently. So it's going to be important to have a consistent vibrato. You have to vibrate on every note, even if it's not comfortable, get comfortable with it. And then it's about every note having a direction. The note is going to the next note or it's coming back from the previous note. That's why I put in all those hairpin crescendos. It's going to here. Now it's going to here and back. Now I start less and go a little higher there and less and up. And a little crescendo here so I can diminuendo. It says poco accelerando right there at the end. I'm not really doing it. The poco accelerando is meant to speed up a little bit so when you start playing the next section, which says più mosso, which means a little bit more, a little bit faster, you're already faster, but we're stopping right here. So I'm just leaving off the poco accelerando, and I think that would be fine. Okay, so now let's play it slowly. And I'm going to use another fingering while we play it slowly just to give you a suggestion if you don't want to use that second position reaching for your fourth fingering. All right. I remember it is so important to have these little hairpin crescendos in it and give it some life. If you don't give it some life, it's kind of like if you're just talking like this with everything, and you might be saying all the right words and you might be playing all the right notes, but it's really boring to listen to and you sound like a robot. So use little dynamic changes. And maybe the speed of the bow. I'm not going to get into that right now. Hopefully maybe your school teachers or your private teachers can tell you more about how your bow speed can help you make little dynamic changes and put in better phrasing in your music. Also, vibrate everything, especially those fourth fingers. I know maybe it's not the most comfortable thing, but you can't vibrate some notes and not the others. If you do that, then the notes that aren't vibrated really stick out and sound raunchy. All right. I hope this has helped any of you. If you have any comments or any questions, put them in the comments below, and I'll be happy to answer if I can. This is just one Atlanta musician trying to help out all you wonderful kids who are losing out on so many opportunities this year. You hang in there, keep with it, audition for stuff, because when this is over, you will be out there playing with your friends and your peers. Trust me, I know. I have not been able to play with the Atlanta Opera since March 14th, and it just breaks my heart. I cannot wait to be able to do it again, and I cannot wait to see my students in person. Just looking at them on a computer screen is so much harder to do. So just guys, hang in there. Use music as a way of expressing yourself when you can't get out in the world and express yourself out there. So good luck. Practice diligently. Nobody has much time before their videos are due. And make sure that your videos are done not the night before you have to turn them in, but a week before. Send them to your school teachers, send them to your private teachers, let them review it, and then give you a chance to redo it if you want. Don't cram for this. It's not gonna work. Don't cram for your All-State audition, okay? All right, good luck guys. Bye.